Okay, ma'am.
Streaming started, is it?
Yes, sir. Started, sir.
Yeah, we can. I think we can also start the recording. Also, we can start. All people are there.
Sir, shall I start, sir?
Yeah, we can.
Good evening to one and all present here. I welcome you all for this webinar. I welcome you all for this webinar on GenAI in improving cloud security. Now, I request Dr. N. Subramaniam, Executive Director, SETS, to welcome the gathering.
Very good evening to one and all over here. It's a pleasure to join you in this evening hour at Chennai in India. And there are two reasons to first celebrate this. One is that today it is also the day where we had our beloved former President Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was born, and at SETS, at Society for Electronic Transaction and Security, we take pride in saying that SETS has been conceptualized when he was the first principal scientific advisor to the government of India, a visionary, as we all know, and a technologist who had foreseen that the requirement of cybersecurity even 25 years ago. So, with that remark, and also in the festive, nice to see all members joining us for this learning in the learning evening, and sincerely thank and welcome with Kavitha Srinivasulu for sparing that time and going to share with us some of the important topic of discussion. Now, when you look at the global changes right now, when we are talking, I understand that there is this annual meetings of the Global Future Councils and Cybersecurity that is right now being organized by the World Economic Forum in Dubai. It is from 15-16, it's ongoing right now, where there are about 93 nations are participating and addressing and brainstorming discussions related to AI, quantum computing, cyber threats, and disinformation. Now, this topic is very important, and I also understand there is a very interesting proposition about a transformative approach being proposed by nations over there for addressing the advancements in AI and cybersecurity confluence of it. We all know that the GenAI can also be used for various purposes, both in context of creation as well as for detection purposes. Like for example, our own self, we have research projects in collaboration with IIT Madras, IIT Delhi, IIT Jodhpur, and SETS at CDAC Bangalore. So we have been working in this area of cybersecurity and AI convergence, and using it for various purposes, like for vulnerability analysis, side channel analysis, and things like that, deepfake detection, and things like that. Now, when we specifically talk about GenAI also has, we all know that it can be used to create deepfake and things like that. What is interesting to note is that it can also be useful for even detection of deepfakes and things like that. Of course, there are other methods that are there related to autoencoders, transfer learning attacks, and things like that. Now, generative AI in the context of cybersecurity has multiple advantages, largely in the context of ops. When you talk about security operations center and mining of logs and events, and then trying to form automatic rules and policies, these are interesting opportunities that we know that is being brought out by GenAI. And I'm sure that, like each of you here, I'm also eager to listen the expert talk to listen in this area. So I'm sure that this talk is going to be highly motivating, and it will give a lot of insight on the recent advancement and use cases. Looking forward, and take this opportunity on behalf of the organizers to this learning. Let's open up the floor to the and I hand it over to Mr. HR Mohan. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Mr. HR Mohan, Chair Events IEEE CS Madras, to introduce the speaker. Welcome you, sir.
Yeah, greetings and good evening to one and all. Let me once again, on behalf of the organizing units, IEEE Computer Society of India, ACM, and Society for Electronic Transaction Security, I extend a warm welcome to our esteemed speaker, Ms. Kavitha Srinivasulu, Program Director, Cybersecurity and Data Privacy at TCS UK, members and my colleagues from organizing units, and the participants joined the Google Meet, and those watching the YouTube streaming. Cloud computing has seen a phenomenal growth in the recent past, in spite of security apprehensions due to its flexibility. However, with the advent of developments in AI, the concerns are growing and the impact is unclear. And AI is for security and security for AI. Both are, AI has got role in both the ways. It improves the security as well as, it provides a threats in security areas. And this month, October being the Computer Cyber Security Awareness Month, we have been organizing programs related to security topics for the last few years. And today's topic is going to be on GenAI in improving the cloud security. This presentation will cover overview of current threat landscape and evolving risk, types of risk and challenges, different types of cyber attacks, and data breaches caused in the cloud. Because we are more focusing on the cloud in today's presentation, emerging trends and risk solutions, and also how to get prepared for unexpected threats. So this presentation will cover basically these aspects. Now let me introduce formally the speaker. Ms. Kavitha Srinivasulu is an experienced cybersecurity and data privacy leader with overall 21 years of experience focused on risk advisory, data protection, and data business resilience. She has demonstrated expertise in identifying and mitigating risk across ISO, NIST, SOC, CRS, GRC, regulatory technologies, and in emerging technologies with diverse experience across corporate and strategic partners. She possesses a solid balance of domain knowledge and smart business acumen, ensuring business requirements and organizational goals are met. Earlier to joining Tata Consultancy Services, Ms. Kavitha has worked in SIFI Technologies, CSS Corporation, and Wipro, Verizon, Bank of America, HCL Technologies, AstraZeneca, and GAVS Technologies in various roles. Ms. Kavitha's professional affiliations include Ambassador at Information Sharing and Analysis Center, Board Member in Women in Cybersecurity India, Executive Committee Member in Cyber Education Board Community. With this brief intro, let me welcome Ms. Kavitha to enlighten our participants on GenAI in improving cloud security. Over to Ms. Kavitha.
Great. First and foremost, I would like to thank the entire organizing committee, IEEE Madras, CSI Chennai, ACM, SETS, and the entire team, including Ms. Akila, Mr. Mohan, and Mr. Subramaniam, for giving me this opportunity to share the knowledge that I've gained, because it's always an emerging space, and what we know today is always a history, right? So it's a good opportunity that we learn about new things each and every day, and to equip ourselves to what we are going to face tomorrow. With that, AI is something which is emerging now. But before even telling about AI, I would like to first give an overview about cybersecurity. It's not that suddenly we jump into the kennel not knowing what she's talking about, right? Just, for you to understand what security is and why we are really, running behind cloud security or AI security or different emerging technologies, including IoT and all that stuff. Why are we getting into that space first? First, cybersecurity is a skeleton to any organization or any business that is evolving in today's world. Say, for example, there is a team who is working on a very critical project, right, which is unique in manner, and if that's going to get delivered in the project deliverable, they are going to emerge, evolve, grow, and succeed in the business. But there is always predators or the fraudsters or the hackers that we see trying to theft the data, trying to get influence on the information that we are working on, sell it, or just dismantle in such a way that they are able to benefit. At the end of the day, the benefit on majority cases is the money, right? The ransomware that we are also hearing day in and day out. So if there is something, there is the various ways that they find to get influence to the data and to theft the data. How do we protect the data? How do we ensure that the project that we are working on is secured and it is really going to help our organization to grow? And that is where security fits in, like a skeleton, right? That we are forming a key layer, a security layer across or around the project that we are working on to ensure our data is protected from internal or external threats, and we are able to safeguard the information. So that's where cybersecurity comes into picture. So as the technology grows day by day, right, there is always a space for the hackers or the predators to theft the data or to influence our network to create a lot of cyber incident. It can be a ransomware attack that we are hearing about, or about malware attacks, or it can be a phishing attack. There are different types of cyber attacks that is emerging to get influenced into our network and to create a big incident, out of which it results in losing our business or to lose the data that we're working on. So as the technology we are working on, be it on AI or be it
ma'am, sorry to interrupt. Ma'am, you have not shared your PPT, ma'am.
No, it would take time. I would like to give a heads up first before I get into the subject, please.
Sorry, ma'am. Sorry.
Okay. No problem. So as I was saying, as we are evolving across different technologies, there is always a space for vulnerabilities. When we say a vulnerability, it's a weakness. It's a weakness in the system. Like, for example, I'll take, the legal system, right? Whenever there is a victim and a person who's doing that incident, even if it's going to be death, right? Even if it's going to be an extremely high, issue that the person is going to create, there is always loopholes for the lawyers to, to debate and to win the case. There is always loopholes. How much ever we are going to go prepared to win in the court, there is always loopholes, to come out. Similarly, cybersecurity is not a formula applying which our entire organization will be safe, or the place is safe, and we didn't have to do anything beyond that. It is a emerging journey, and there is always a space for loopholes when the technology is growing, and we all need to work together to protect the data and to work towards protecting our mission. Okay, with this, we'll come to the topic that we are to discuss today. I'll just share my screen, and please be aware this sharing the screen is definitely not going to be like reading. It is definitely more on just as a space, okay, a space for discussion, but this is not going to be only a presentation based. I'm just trying to put it in the presentation mode. Hope all of you are able to see my screen with that. Gen AI. So how is Gen AI coming into picture? Even before Gen AI, there is AI that is started with AI, artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence, when we hear, it is definitely not something new to all of us, I would say, not based on where you're working, on what technology that you're working, but as even a common public, it's deeply getting intruded into all the activities that we are working in or using on a day-to-day purpose, including the mobiles, right? Including the mobiles, we use lots of automated tools for helping us to ease the phase or ease the activities that we are looking for. To take some samples, like take it banks. Whenever we call banks, the customer service always used to be busy and we were not able to get through. We have to wait for hours together. But how does this AI has improved or closed the gap of waiting, right? That is definitely using the chat GPT or the artificial assistant, right? There is an assistant, automated machine that comes, it tries to gather the information and it tries to filter as much as possible and to put you in the right place so that you don't waste time, or it saves time, right, of putting it in the right place, and your questions are getting answered in a very timely manner. So not only that, if you see in the screen, in multiple sectors, I took bank as one of the example. Even in the doctors, when you go to a doctor, there is a tool for diagnostics, right? Tool for diagnostics, and an easy identification machine is used. Instead of spending hours together taking the inputs and creating the records again and again, they have used this artificial intelligence to do a granular level assessment, for diagnosing the right in a right manner, and to ease the identification process. It's used in even in the healthcare domain. And another, to put even in the transport, how we are using GPS, and even the autonomous vehicles, where all the automation tools are used to for easing the purpose or easing the way that we have been working in the past. So there are lots of places it is coming up, but how this technology is also affecting the spaces that we are working in. What are the different types of products that is coming in, right? We spoke about different areas that it is affecting, influencing, and what are all the products that we are using in our day-to-day activities that you see here, right? So it's even to go beyond what we are using very frequently on a day-to-day basis is navigation, the GPS, correct? You all know that GPS has replaced the personalization or the way that we used to connect with the people. If we have to go from a source to a destination, in the past we always used to get lost and take help from the people around us and to check for the place that we are going to go to, and we always used to communicate, and the relationship were also getting developed in some cases in the past. But now the personal space or the personalization has gone down, and we use GPS always, and GPS helps us in any nook and corner that you have to go to. This AI that has been introduced in GPS has definitely helped us to reach from source to destination without any hassles. and the facial recognition. The kind of technology that we're using for access and authentication to any application, or the tools that we are using, is always prone to risks, right? We always get the password lost, or the password is hacked, and we get victimized at the end of the day. So how do we reduce that kind of data loss? How do we protect our data? For that, the AI has also helped by bringing in a facial recognition tool, which is like unique, and the other people, that cannot, that's the way of losing the data or unauthorized access becomes very less, because it's a live detection. Only when it recognizing your live face will it be able to authenticate you to enter the application or the network that you're trying to enter. So that is definitely one of the important space where artificial intelligence has helped and is helping us to grow. And another typical example is Chat GPT and chatbot, right? What we've always used, even now, wherever we want to check about anything, even a tablet that we found in some place, we are not sure, for what purpose it's used. I want to check about the pros and cons, or about the product, any product that you want to know about. You just have to raise the query, and you get even over and beyond the information. What you take and what you use is different, but how much of data that you have access to is the benefit of using artificial intelligence. So there are various places that we are using, including in the cybersecurity space. There are various manners that we use. So to quickly check the facts before we see how it is helping the security space. First and foremost, artificial intelligence is a double-edged sword. Yes, it is positively helping us for automizing the effort, in easing our comfort to utilize various products, various places that we are trying to utilize to access. It's helping us in various means. It is giving you data to such a level that you don't miss any data. Human errors are always there, right? But this applying this artificial intelligence, we are reducing the human errors. It takes the complete data of what is required and present it to you in such a manner that the turnaround time is reduced, the human errors are reduced, and you're able to identify what kind of patterns and anomalies that is existing in the network or in the place that you're trying to find. So that is definitely a space where AI is developing in helping the organization or person to understand about what they are looking for. But at the same time, you have to also keep in mind that, AI, okay, what's the difference between AI and GenAI? First of all, I think that I missed that part. To let you know, AI, when they initially came up, AI was able to, it was a kindergarten, like it was in the niche area, able to just take the information that you're giving to them, and it used to give you the answer based on the data or the information that it is aware about. But that alone was not helping. In the due course, there are some information which is unidentified, be it an image or a video or a metadata. AI was not able to identify and come up with the appropriate report that we were looking for. That's when GenAI, generative AI, came into picture, where it just closed the gaps that AI was not able to work on. Be it on identifying the images or any PDFs or videos or any kind of information is unidentified by the tool. Also, this applying AI, it was able to check completely at a granular level, and giving you the required information in a timely manner, right? So that's where GenAI came into picture, and it is continuously learning, continuously growing in all the platforms. But still, we'll have to keep in mind one thing: whenever we are getting any information through AI or GenAI, we'll have to ensure what kind of data are you using? Are you properly managing? Because whatever information it gives doesn't mean that it is providing the right level of information. Is it to be used or not to be used, have to be decided by the human. So I would definitely stand on human intelligence plays a very key role in decision making. And human intelligence cannot be overtaken by any other intelligence or any technology, for sure, because we have to take a decision of any action that we are going to do on. I'll give an example about GPS. Right, GPS is one of the AI tool that we use on a day-to-day activities. When we are going to a destination and on the way, we just follow the GPS. When we are following the GPS and not taking the right decision when we are following the GPS, that's a risk. How? So when we are going straight on a road, there is a building that is built in the straight end, but my GPS says you have to go straight. Will you go straight and hit the wall, or will you take a diversion line and go in the right path? Who will decide that? The machine doesn't not know that there is something newly built, or there is something which is which is injurious or which is dangerous for us to cross, right? It will give based on the data that it is available with. But human will be able to judge, is it safe to go through that path, and or not, have to be decided by the human, right? So this level of decision making is primary, and the human have to play a key role in that. By 2025, when we take cloud, is going to hold a remarkable data in its database. It's going to be used across the organizations. Already nearly 80 to 85% of the organizations are completely dependent on cloud. If you take rewind 5 years back before COVID, right, there was not much clouds was in practice, right? Majority of them were only dependent upon the on-prem servers, right? They were only using that, and all that data was stored there. And there was no way that in some of the organizations or projects, you can't work from home. Because if you are away from your office, you will not be able to access your data from anywhere else. All you have to do is be inside that data room or the data center on some restricted areas for you to get access to the application or the tool that you have to work on, and you have to carry on your day-to-day deliverables. But what happened during COVID? The entire globe got halted because you will not be able to go out of the house. So how do we continue to deliver our business? That's when this cloud came into picture, which has to be highly appreciated, because the level of scalability, the level of accessibility that it's given to the employees to connect from wherever they are, to continue with their business without disruptions. The deliverables were happening, how much ever we were completely working in the solo mode from different places across the world, the business was still running, and there was no downtime nor any issues because of cloud. Cloud definitely helped a lot. So most of the organizations, had a sudden shift to cloud without understanding, when we are adapting to the technology, how much cautious we have to be when we are getting into the open network. When I say open network, that means when you are working within the organization, the on-prem, that means you had a set of security controls that was enabled. You are protecting the access, you are protecting the network, and all these were ongoing, the monitoring system and all that. But when we moved to the cloud, there was a general myth that came into the picture. Now it is majority came out, but in the initial period when they were moving to cloud, there was a myth that once we move to the cloud, the complete cybersecurity or information security services will be taken care by the cloud service provider, be it Google or Microsoft or Azure. So they have assumed that the cloud service providers are going to take care of the security activities, and we need have to be worried, which is a myth. And to break that myth and to make the organizations to understand the key priority of the equal responsibility on cybersecurity services. If we have to enable and protect the information or the data that we are owning, it has to be a shared responsibility between the cloud service provider as well as the organization. This kind of information, it took time for them to understand and adapt, which gave a treat period or hunting period for the predators or the hackers that we're talking about. So as per the reports that it started coming out, the number of incidents, the cyber attacks that happened on-prem was much lower than what it was occurring in the cloud. Why? Because the security measures that needs to be taken into consideration and need to be enabled during the migration of data to cloud was missed. Because the security layer was not adapted during the designing itself, there was lots of attacks which was increasing. So for this, once the organizations, Once the organization started realizing that, they started enabling the security controls in the cloud. As it's as important as we govern and secure our on-prem data. It's not only that that it has to be at that level, it has to be beyond that, because the access and the scalability is wider. Correct? Sorry. So when we are talking about the security layers in a cloud, right, it is very important for us to understand what is the level of security that is required in the cloud, right? So when we take from the level of doing a risk assessment, that's the first information. Okay, so when we are talking about risk assessment, it is to understand how secured or how safe is the application that I'm trying to move from on-prem to the cloud is safe. To give you an example, everyone, when we are going to a market, right, when we are buying vegetables, you buy a set of 10 apples, and you're going to another shop and buying a set of oranges. If in the set of oranges that you're buying, there is going to be one orange which is spoiled. And when you're going to put that with the other fruits in your basket, wouldn't all of them get infected and it would be, it would be spoiled? Similarly, whenever there is a cloud, when you're moving the applications or data to the cloud, it has to be completely sanitized or completely assessed to check, are these applications or data that I'm going to migrate to the cloud are clean and safe to be moved. That assessment needs to be done to understand there is no vulnerabilities that is prevailing in this application or the data, so it is safe to be moved. That first check has to be done, okay, which will reduce the kind of incident that is occurring in the cloud. Second is the access. What level of access are we providing and who is having access? The RBAC or the role-based access have to be enabled to the intended resources only, not to everyone. That is the second check that we have to always keep in mind while we are migrating the data. And third is, how is our data? Where is the data going to be present, and do we have a necessary data backup done on an ongoing basis? If there is going to be any downtime, how we are going to protect the data without data loss? All this have to be checked. That's the third one. And the fourth one is on the business continuity. If there is going to be any downtime, if there is going to be any disruption to the business, how we are going to sustain and how we are going to continue our deliverables. A business continuity and disaster recovery is the fourth check that we have to do, that we have enabled, and the right level of recovery strategies are defined and enabled. And the fifth one is definitely the standard requirements, the ISO. The compliance plays a very key role, because when we are working on any technology or enabling any security controls, it has to be aligned to the industry standard requirements. There are three controls that you have to keep in mind while you are designing a security control for your application or for your business. The first one is the industry standards, which covers ISO 27001, which is the information security, and we have to keep the risk management standard in mind, the cloud security standard in mind, which is CCSK, CSCSP, all the different certifications that we have, which we also have to be competent with. And CIA is another important requirement that we have to keep in mind, a standard requirement when we are working on the data on a day in and day out. And CIS is another guideline for cloud information security, where we will have to align to that guidelines and ensure whatever data that we are moving and we are managing are in line with the data that we are working on. Okay, so next is the compliance. Compliance standard requirements have to be kept in mind while we are designing and we are working on. So once the cloud is ready, the cloud is working good, and we are able to manage the data in the cloud, that alone is not enough, right? As the technology grows, as I was saying, the disruptions evolve, and the way that the hackers can just intrude into your network by using lots of other technology spaces that they have, the emerging trends, right? Because we have to always accept another thing: the predators or the hackers that we are talking about are super intelligent. The data that we know, when we are working on some project, is maybe we know to a percentage. If we know 100%, that the predators or the hackers will know 110%. You can question how. I'll tell you. When we're working on any project, maybe we know about the project, what's the project requirement that we have, the FRD, or they say functional requirement document. We follow that, and based on that we develop. But they don't. But the predators will not only come and only see what you're working on where is this network. They will be studying about the entire boundaries, the entire organizational structure, their posture. Where are they connected? How are they connected? What are all the weak spaces that they have? How we'll be able to intrude the network. They'll do a complete study, and they take various processes in various steps in intruding your network. In that there is different types of ways that they use, which I can show you. We just spoke about this, but this just for your information only. But there are different ways of they can approach the user who is working on the network. One is using a phishing email. Phishing email, I'm sure most of you should be aware. If not aware also, it's a kind of a suspicious email that you would receive. And it might be, sounding or looking very similar to what we are working on related to our project also. But we should always be very cautious. If there is any email that you receive, with a link and an attachment, we have to be cautious before we act on it. We have to do a little bit of homework when there is an information that it is asking you to do. Before you act on any email, ensure that you are able to, identify what's the purpose of this email, where it is coming from. Check the host name of the email ID, check the subject of the email, check the signature of the email, do little checks to understand if you're the intended recipient and the email is coming from the right origin. Okay, that's very important. And the other way is malware attacks. Middleman attacks is also one of the way that they try to intrude your network. And there is, we also have ransomware attacks. When I'm talking about ransomware attacks, they will do it in two ways. One is either, encrypting the data that you're working on once they get into your network, or by locking the information, locking your whole system. You're not able to open the file that you are working on because the access is in the predator or the hacker's hand. That's a way of, intruding your network or creating this ransomware attack. Why do they not do that? Because the project that you're working on is very critical to business. Delivering that is important to the organization. But if they are going to, get access to that and lock or encrypt the data, unless you're going to pay that ransom to them, they are not going to release, right? So ransom is money, and where is malware. So ransomware is what you would have heard on a day-to-day basis, where the demand for money. And it can sound little simple. It's not in a simple term, or for us to feel that I'm not working on any critical data or critical project. How am I important? What role do I play? I'm listening to you so much, Kavitha, but how do I play a role in protecting the data? That would be a question in a lot of people's mind. But please keep in mind, team, when we are working in an organization, we become the business owner, the data owner. How? Right? Whichever project you may be working on, even as a business analyst or as a PMO also, because I'm not working on any development or testing. So how am I owning that? So to answer that, whenever a predator or a hacker has to intrude into the network, there is definitely a key that they need, a place where they can get into the network. If they getting access to one system, getting to other systems is not a big challenge. So your system, if your system is not protected and you give, you open that toll gate for them, then that gives influence the entire network. It can be across the organization or across the country as well. So we have to be very cautious on the system that we are working in and how well we have protected our systems and how we are working. Okay. So while talking about cloud security, different security controls that we have enabled. And why I said it is not enough is because the predators are finding out loopholes to enter the network, and for us to not find spaces where the intruders are getting into. What we mean in the security language, the unforeseen risks. How do we identify the unforeseen risk and to be more proactive rather than being reactive in nature? So what is happening in today's world, in the majority of the places, is we have a SOC system, a SOC team, right? A security operations center. There will be L1, L2, L3. L1 will be monitoring, L2 will be investigating if there is any alerts come, and L3 will be working with the leadership team if there is escalated to the next level because there is something serious that's happening in the system. So when that is reactive. So once we get some alert, once we get some incident that is occurring, we are going to work on that for mitigating. So that's a reactive measure by invoking our incident response plan. But applying this AI would help us in various means. For example, I'll take the SOC itself as an example. When we are going to apply this AI algorithm into the system, when this is going to take the logs from different workspaces that we are working on. It can be from different controls, right? Be it a physical access log, or it be access logs, and it can be even firewall logs. It can be various logs that the teams are working on. It will collate all the information, do an ongoing analysis to give a proactive alert for us to showcase the unforeseen risks. If we are going to identify the unforeseen risks and work on that immediately, there would not be a position where we'll have to, work on that incident once it occurs, right? So this AI helps, the quality of prioritizing the level of risks, and to prioritize and give you the right level of alerts for us to handle it in a very better manner. When I say, these alerts doesn't mean that is going to just give only the alerts. It can also help us in communication, right? Applying AI will also help us in the timely communications to the teams, so that we don't end up in late coverages or late communications. One such example, a real-time incident that has occurred recently is in one of the organization. There was a vulnerability that is prevailing in the network for more than 1 year. For more than a year, there was a vulnerability, and there was data loss happening now and then. They were unable to identify why the data loss was happening and what was the vulnerability. Only after 1 year, they came to understand there is some kind of inject had happened, and that malware is existing in the system for more than a year. So how we can rectify that? Why, even though we are doing the monitoring on an ongoing basis, how that was missed is because some information would be in a metadata type, right? So some information will not be unidentifiable. That's where this AI plays a key role in helping us identify even the unstructured and metadata. So we'll be able to check and process that in a very effective manner. That's one space. Another use case that I will discuss with you is the risk management. Is a space where it's coming up. It's in the niche area. It's coming up. We would have all heard about risk assessment, right? Which is subjective in nature. When we do a risk assessment, we just understand the impact, probability. We come up with the risk rating, high, medium, and low. We discuss with the board of directors. We wanted to mitigate the challenges that the teams are facing, but that becomes a stop at the board of directors level because it's non-ROI. There is not going to be any returns. Why should I, invest in security space which is not going to give me any returns, right? That will be the first thing, because they're unable to understand what is the challenge, what will be the impact to my business if there is any incident that is going to occur. So this AI is helping us in automizing, in quantifying the risk. So whenever you go to the management and say, so when there's going to be an incident, there'll be a loss of $1 million. And if you're going to enable this, control to mitigate that risk, it's going to be 100K, right? So it can be, a very simplified manner where we are showing the business the loss in numbers. If there is going to be any incident that is going to occur, this weakness will, be, victimized, and we would be losing the data if we are not going to fix the gap that is identified now. And for fixing the gap, this is the cost. If you're going to explain them in numbers, then definitely it will help the management to take the right decision and invest in the right place. So we'll not be able to will not be facing challenges in convincing or to get compromised. So these are some of the key use cases that definitely AI helps. Another is the behavioral analytics and data augmentation. When I say behavioral analytics, is like when we are monitoring the system, right? There are different ways in which we can, prioritize, or we can uplift the, kind of analysis or the monitoring that we do. When we say behavioral analytics, like for example, Kavitha logs into the system by 4 a.m. in the morning and logs off by 2 p.m. This is a pattern, the regular pattern of Kavitha. If there is a change, suddenly in my place, somebody else is logging in, or she logs in by 2 a.m., which is not her working hours usually, then that alert goes to the team who's monitoring as a proactive measure that, see, there is a change in the pattern, usual pattern that is occurring. That behavior has to be analyzed and checked. So this is behavioral analytics helps big time in proactively identifying the risk and acting accordingly. Okay, so these are some of the use cases that we can use in cloud to protect the data and to ensure the security controls that's existing can be automized and can uplift the level of consistency that is giving in today's environment. Most of the products are coming up by integrating or embedding AI into the existing culture, and some new products are also coming in for uplifting the automation and security culture. Okay, and these are some of the best practices I'm sharing with you. And before that, one thing we have to keep in mind is we spoke about the benefits. At the same time, we should also be aware about what are the things that we have to keep in mind while we are accepting this new change, this AI adaptation, right? First thing is it is always biased, and it will always be you have to always be cautious, because the kind of information that it gives you, you cannot just copy and paste. If I am asking some information from for example, the ChatGPT, you can't just copy and paste it, because it brings in all the information, closing the eyes. If I want A, it gives everything related to A. But that A can be related to other organizations as well, that unique intellectual property as well. You cannot just take other organizations' data and use it in your organization, isn't it? So we'll have to be very cautious that we will have to take a decision. You can use it as a reference. The data that it is providing you can use it as a guideline or as a reference, but not as just copy and paste and utilize the same. It will impact your business by compliance as well as the repetition. Okay, we have to be very cautious about that. And the second thing is, we can't believe, what it says just close blindedly. We cannot believe that. As I gave you the example of GPS, right? It will give you the path as it is recorded, because it is still in the niche area. It's learning. GenAI is learning, and it gives the data based on what it has in its mind or in the database, right? So when it gives you the data, you can't close blindedly trust and go ahead with that. You have to have a decision-making layer in where you will have to understand, can I go ahead and act on this? Is it important that I have to apply another security layer manually to check before we use this particular step that the AI is proposing us? That needs to be in place, because that is very important, because there will be some times where it will mislead, and that misleading will end up in a bigger impact. Correct? So that has to be in mind. And we also have to keep in mind when we are using this GenAI for the positive, for the improvement and for automation of the security controls, good. But the same GenAI used in the other way for deep faking. I don't know if you are aware about deep faking. It is like Kavitha talking to you over call now. The same Kavitha will be talking in a different place with even the president of UK. We may never know. That's deep faking. Utilize in using your own image in different places without your consent or without your knowledge also is misused in some places, which we call deep faking. It comes with the face, with the voice, and the way that we are going to communicate. Okay, so we have to also be aware about how it is getting misused and how cautious we have to be with our own personal data. Personal data also plays a very key role, everyone, because personal data is getting misused by deepfaking or by using unauthenticated access, using our own images or our biometric. We have to also be cautious where our images are used, where we are giving consent. When I say consent is approval, where my data can be used and where it shouldn't be used. And that is where lots of data protection acts have come into picture. In India, DPDP is recently come out, you would have heard, right? It is very, very important that we safeguard our information, not only to protect our own data, but also the place that we are working. Okay, so with that, best practices that we have shared, what do we expect in 2025, and beyond? What are we expecting? What this Gen AI applying in the cloud or applying anywhere in any growing technology, how this Gen AI is going to help us, right? So first and foremost is it's going to increase the protection of data from overcoming any kind of unforeseen risk that is prevailing. Okay, that's first. And compliance. When we are talking about compliance, there are lots of certifications that comes into picture. The organization have to have ISO certification, then NIST certification, then they come with SOC 2 certification. Then they come with lots different kinds of certification that your organization should comply with. So each doing multiple certifications by manual efforts is going to take more time, more efforts, and more people. But applying this AI, it is definitely going to uplift the accuracy and the time that we take to complete the compliance related activities. Okay, and there is another important thing that is coming up is on the third party risk is going to evolve, and it is increasing day by day. As I said, when we are working in an organization, I spoke at a people level. Your data is so important. You become the data owner to protect the organization's data. The same thing, not only for the people who are working within the organization, even whom we are connected with, the third parties that we work day in and day out, even their network is very important. Because if the third party's network is weak and the predator or the hacker is going to get access to the third party through which he can get into the parent organization, is also increasing nowadays. So that is a risk area that is growing in 2025, and all the organizations are getting into more more stringent action on monitoring and checking the performance of their third parties as well. It's in the growing trend. And a data protection officer, the need for data protection officer is going to grow, because the ransomware attacks that I was talking in cloud specifically, it is increasing. And if the data protection is very weak, and how we have to protect the personal data of the individuals to ensure we are not only protecting the customer data, but also our organizational's confidential information. To safeguard this and to standardize the process and to bring in the privacy culture into the organization, the DPO's requirement is in high demand. So these are all some of the emerging trends. And another important thing for us to also agree is there is lots and lots of requirement for cybersecurity resources, because as the industry is growing in the technology, the vulnerabilities are also accompanying. To handle the vulnerabilities and to support the organizations to protect the data, we need security resources, right? That's where cybersecurity is on the growing space, and it's definitely will grow down the line to protect and to be a strong security culture, and to build a strong security culture for the organizations that we are working with. So with that, I would like to thank for giving me this time, and any queries, please do let me know and I'll be happy to take it.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the wonderful session. Now, first, let me post the questions. Then we can ask them to unmute themselves and ask, ma'am. First question. Sure. Future direction of AI-based cyber security in the quantum era.
Okay. So any technology that is growing, as we are discussing, it's not only cloud or IoT or any space, even in quantum, it's going to play a very key role in two ways. As I said, it's a double-edged sword. The risk is always there, as well as it's going to help in automizing the activities that they are working to strengthen the environment. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Next question. What certifications matter in cloud security, and are they really important?
Yes. Certifications is an identity. It's not that if you are certified, then we are all done. Because continuous learning is a key to success, and we should never stop learning because we are certified. However, the certifications like we have CCSP, like Certified Cloud Security Professional, we have Certified Cloud Security Knowledge, CCSK, and we have CSP specific certifications, AWS Security Engineer, we have Microsoft Security Engineer, and Google Security Engineer, different layers of becoming an engineer professional as well as the advanced expert. So different kinds of certifications are there. And as I said, certifications are just an identity. Like, when we do engineering, right? The degree is an identity for us to apply for jobs, correct? It's an identity, but that will not help you with experience and the knowledge that you build, right? So building knowledge is always lies with the, the learning that you do continuously. You have to keep learning, keep adapting, and you have to keep in mind what we know today in cybersecurity specifically is a history tomorrow. So we should continuously keep learning, and the certifications are just an identity.
Thank you, ma'am. Some highlights on HIDPS and GAN.
Sorry, can I get that more clarified with HIDMS?
HIDPS and GAN.
I'm sorry, I'm not
okay.
clear about
Maybe, yeah, yes, ma'am.
We'll come back to you on that.
Yeah. What exactly, you have told this, answered this question in your presentation itself. What exactly differentiates GenAI from traditional AI models?
So AI, as I said, when it initially came up, it was like a kindergarten, very initial. It was only replying based on the data it is fed into. However, GenAI came into picture for getting more wider picture of identifying the unstructured and metadata, in identifying the PDF format, any format the data is fed into. It's able to analyze, identify, and give you the right level of output.
Thank you, ma'am. One question in the chat box. Mr. Ananta Padmanabhan has asked, can you please inform what certifications that organization should aim for?
So the organizations depends upon what area you're looking for. For security, definitely ISO 27001 is mandatory for all the organization to ensure that from the information security standpoint they are compliant. And if you for risk management, it's ISO 31000. And if I'm saying I'm compliant to a data privacy culture, we have that posture built in, and we are compliant. Then ISO 27701 is for data privacy. And like that, based on the scope of your activity, scope of what you want to apply within your organization, the certifications also apply.
Thank you so much for your wonderful Q&A session, ma'am. Any questions from the participants? You can unmute yourself and ask.
Sure. Okay, if there are no queries, I would like to just add one thing. AI is a growing space, and it is very important that all of us know about the standard there as well and what we can do in AI space. ISO 42001 is something related to artificial intelligence that is authorized certification. If you want to learn about that, it's like a foundation. Like ISO 27001 is the foundation for information security. After that came that you have CISA, you have CSM, you have lots of CEH based on the area that you're choosing, right? There are lots of certifications. Like the foundation is like ISO 27001. Similarly, for AI, ISO 42001 is the foundation, and whoever is interested in that area, you can start exploring. Thanks.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, I would like to propose the formal vote of thanks. So we had a session on GenAI and improving cloud security with the speaker Kavitha Srinivasulu ma'am, Programming Director, Cybersecurity and Data Privacy, TCS UK. So she started with explaining about the basic cybersecurity and also, and she mentioned to just a quote that it is not a formula to protect the entire organization. It is just a thing to help the data to be protected. And she also intervened, told about the AI driving innovation across multiple sectors and areas. She explained about the various areas. And she mentioned also about by 2025, cloud is expecting to be expected to be 100 gigabytes of data. So, and if we have huge volume of data, human errors will be there. So we can just use AI, GenAI for reducing this human error, but not completely preventing. And she also mentioned in her presentation about while migrating from that is normal in a local data to the cloud, security has to be taken into consideration. And she spoke about the CIS, like Cloud Information Security also. She briefed about phishing, middleman attack, and ransomware attack. And she explained about some of the test cases, also use cases also. So she was explaining about how even the GenAI is protecting the metadata and how it is quantifying the risk in an organization and how there is a change in pattern is being identified by the GenAI. So she also explained with a real time, like the known very simple examples. She just explained all the use cases. She also touched upon the best practices in cloud securing cloud, and she ended with a thing like it is you cannot blindly rely on only on AI wholly. You should have you should analyze the decision that is being given by the AI, and we should also have some expertise, little expertise on the data what is being given by the Gen AI, and we have to analyze it and then do our protect our data. That is what she just told. And also she just told about the deep faking. That is how the personal data is being misused using by the AI. And these are all the things she has told. So I would like to thank all the organizing units and a special thanks to HR Mohan sir for organizing such wonderful sessions and bringing those expertise. I thank Kavitha ma'am also for her wonderful session and question answer session. I also thank the participants who have actively participated, and some of you have raised the questions in the chat box, and also while registering itself you have raised. Thank you for that. I thank all the participants who are attending in YouTube live streaming also. And I thank all the members, senior members who and all have joined in this particular meeting. Now, I would like to just quote the forthcoming events, some of the forthcoming events. So on October 29, 2025, we have a webinar on dying art of computer science education and software craftsmanship. And on November 12th, we have a webinar on hyper personalization in software defined vehicles, shift from adaptive ecosystems to identity driven mobility. And we also have on November 26, 2025, a webinar on vulnerability to victory, business use cases in cybersecurity. I expect all to see this data in the credential mail that we have sent during the for this particular webinar. So you just register through that and then utilize the expertise from the experts what we are expecting. Thank you. Thank you all. Have a nice day.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
So thank you, Ms. Kavitha, for the wonderful session. Really appreciate your time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ms. Kavitha. Thank you.